Hey everyone, my name is Reed, one of the co-founders of Wrangle here, and I'm going to be walking through how to get started with your first sourcing project. So first, to get started, you can either click New Search up in the top left, click Command K on your keyboard, or you can click in the Sourcing tab and then click the New Search button in the top right. When you click any of these, it'll create a new project automatically for you, and you'll be greeted with a few different options. So first, you can click the Projects button over here, which will take you back to the sourcing projects. This is where you'll be able to see and click into any of your existing projects that you've already done in case you want to revisit a candidate shortlist or just go back and continue searching through them. So let's click back into the one we created. Over here, you'll see preferences. A few of these are the general preferences, which are auto-creating collections for you on search, and then disabling follow-ups for the Copilot. I'll show you that in a second. There's also a location. You can set a default state to search in. This is in case all your roles are in one location and you don't want to have to supply that in the query or the job description. And then visibility, you can toggle these on if you don't want to see candidates that you've hidden or shortlisted in any other searches. Let's get back to the search. So you have an input container here. Down here is a toggle to switch between quick search and deep research mode. Deep research mode is a toggleable option which makes searches take a bit longer. It also fetches only 100 people versus the normal 200, except it'll look for candidates' GitHub contributions, look for research articles that they've published, whatever you really agree upon in your research plan. There'll be another tutorial about that, walking through some searches there. And then over here, you can click sourcing over. This is where you'll select your data source and which candidate pool you want to source over. For your network, we don't have any profiles uploaded as this is a fresh account, but there will be another tutorial on how to sync your account. I'll show you how to do a search over there then too. You can also create new, which will take you to the library tab. Let's set it back to all profiles. Down here are just a few sample options in case you need some ideas to get started. Let's go ahead and run this data scientist search. Wrangle takes a conversational approach to sourcing, so we'll see here is a copilot that you can talk back and forth with. You'll also see that it just created a collection for us in the sidebar called Data Scientist. I'll get in a second on how this comes into play during the search, but let's take a look at these. Python or R expertise, machine learning, PhD and masters, all the stuff that was mentioned here. This does look good. So let's say, looks good, please run the search. Now what it'll do is it'll be creating some queries to run in the back end, fetching an existing pool of candidates, and then it'll be looking through their work histories, their skills, things like what kind of companies they were working at. Are the companies known to have good data scientists, good candidates, stuff like that, to find an initial pool of candidates to compare. So now it's evaluating and ranking the work history. What this is doing behind the scenes is for the initial candidates it fetched, it's looking through each of their experiences, trying to rank them by who matches what our query was the best. It also takes into account anything you talk back and forth with the AI about. So if you said in here, actually find me people with more senior expertise, then it would prioritize that when it's evaluating and ranking the initial pool of candidates. But as this is a search over all profiles, it'll surface us a pool of 200 candidates, which should show up right here. Now you can see it's creating the evaluations. You'll see some criteria pop up. Right now it's generating them, and it's evaluating candidates 1 to 5 on each of them. So we have some top matches. You can see here for each of the criteria, like demonstrated strong skills in Python or R programming languages, it'll give an explanation on why it rated the candidate, whatever it rated them. Then for each candidate, you'll see the information over here. So up top, there's a few buttons. The first is the Add to List button. This is where the data scientist collection comes into play. Let's go ahead and add this guy to the data scientist collection that it created for us. This is where you'll manage the candidates, and you can do things like enroll them in sequences or view their full profiles, collaborate on lists with your teammates. There'll be another section for that in the Help Center. Then you can also search by profile. If you really like a candidate's profile, you can set up a search here, and it'll fetch more candidates that are similar to this person. And then you can also click their LinkedIn to view their profile. Here you'll see their LinkedIn, their location, and then skills. And down here you'll see their experiences. You'll see some data for certain companies on how many people the company employed when they joined. In some cases it'll show funding data instead if they have that. We'll see here they joined at 8,588, and in this case, since they left, it'll be left at 9.2K. Down here they joined at 2B Series D. You can go through their full work experience. This one was post-IPO. You can see some of these don't have that data, but most of them do. And then some education down here. You'll also see the descriptions of what they did, and at any point you can ask the AI on the side, what does this company do if you need more information. Let's just go through a few of these. This candidate looks good, so let's add him to our short list. Carlos has a lot of the same data, also worked at Google as a data scientist. Wayfair, joined post-IPO. Another good candidate. So this is the normal flow that we see recruiters do on Wrangle. They'll run a search, get a candidate pool, go back and forth, shortlisting or hiding them. Let's say this one currently works at North Illinois University. We want someone more focused on tech. Let's hide that one. And at any point, you can talk to the Copilot and ask it to fetch more candidates with a specific background or with specific expertise, things like that. But yeah, and that's how you run your first search. The next tutorial will dive into how to talk with Copilot and make the most out of the sourcing tools. Thank you.